Ekabo.
Ekabo.
Welcome everybody. Welcome back.
Ekabo.
I am IFA Jamini Ray.
I am IFA Tegunshe.
And you are tuned in
to the greatest
podcast
on
the planet.
The planet
Earth.
Let's talk IFA. Ashe.
Ekabo. Omo Ekaro. Omo Eljire. Omo Duduwa. Omo Yoruba. Omo Luabi. All of our people. I pray that you welcome us back.
Yes,
we welcome each other back to another episode, another podcast. Let's talk IFA.
Been a little minute.
So, if for those of you who saw the post or didn't see the post that we made, we apologize for, we had to pause, do the protocol, and out of respect for everything that was going on and the services that we were rendering at the time, everything had to go on pause with the podcast, but we're back.
And, protocol is very important. And so when we are called as priests, we are servants. So when we are called by our community, we have to, because when we're called by our community and the things that we do, it's for our community, but it's for the greater good of the world as well. And so when we're called, we have to drop everything sometime and, take our responsibilities for the positions as chief priests that we have to administer to the nation. So we thank all of our viewers, all of our fans for understanding. And we are back.
Benny. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for sticking with us and riding it out. So this next episode here today, we will be discussing the topic of IKU. IKU, which is the agent of death. IKU.
And the many types of ways that IKU visits, because IKU visits on a lot of levels as well. Many people or many scholars or people who research IKU, death or chief of death, some say, they have different views on IKU, because we know people of other cultures look at IKU in a different way. Some people look at IKU as the spirit of death, of course, but death is looked at as an evil deity in somewhat. Whereas an African view of death is more bright, I would say. Is more bright when we elaborate on IKU and what IKU represents, because IKU, of course, is death. And we know death comes to us all. It's just another transition to home, as we say. The saying, Ayeloja Orunile.
Earth is the marketplace,
and heaven is our home.
Benny.
Right. So we're just here we're in this marketplace, and we're shopping. And what makes our culture so great, when you have the energy of IKU, you also have the energy of Ariku or Aiku, which is long life, right? So we're all on this earth, and we all have a mission. This is why you receive your Ishefa. You go through your Ishefa ceremony. You receive your one hand of Ifa, so that you know why what am I here for, and what am I living for while I'm here in this marketplace. However, IKU is always on our trail.
Benny.
Right?
It's very important right now to stay connected with, with your shrines, however you do that.
I share.
Because it matters. And, IKU, we know that all of us are going to leave here. Either I'm going to be looking at you in there, or you're going to be looking at me, or we all got to go. But this episode, we wanted to try to unwrap or dive into how do you deal with grief and those type of things when you're dealing with IKU, where let's say that was an early death, or it was the way that the person left, or
right.
When we're older and stuff, it's supposed to be celebrated. The problem is sometimes trying to deal with it and grieve when it happens, let's say, earlier than it's supposed to, or unexpected, or premature death. That's what we, don't want, So
those agents,
Benny,
Ajogun,
yeah,
the ones that come to arrest us. IKU comes as you have sickness. That's one way that IKU can, depending on the level of sickness it is, that's IKU comes in different forms, but those are like, would you say those are agents of IKU?
Benny, Ajogun, but they all, can bring IKU, right, because you have right now, when you say illness or sickness, whichever one it was you just said, the mental, the mental sickness is what we're seeing is very prevalent, and probably the physical, illnesses are running behind that, but the mental illness is,
that's
out of control.
The percentage is high on the mental illness.
Yeah.
And that comes in a lot of ways because of the pressure of your environment, the things that, you know how it goes. You have Elejos that come and they seek divination because they're seeking a way out. And you hear the stories, abuse, all of those things, I think. And then even education, I would say education is involved in that. I would say technology is involved in that. I mean, at our age and in our generation, we didn't see so much mentally ill patients the way it is now.
It's that phone, man.
It's that phone.
It's that phone. I'm telling you, it's that phone. It's everything that
these things
they have access to through, including social media, including whatever apps, including whatever else they want to do. It is the thing that's changed, I think and these kids, they suffering.
I think also because we see it a lot, the mental illness, we see it a lot. It's a trigger. I think it's something that's there, but it's a trigger. But a lot of it comes from internal family things, molestation within the family. You have that, you have just abuse, all of those things where you have these young people, they're coming up, they're not getting the attention that they want. And so they'll let the TV raise them, let the person down the street raise them. And so it's a lot. I think a lot of it comes from family issues, and then what's in the food, what we drinking, all of that has something to do with it. And the mental sickness can lead to death. It can lead to IKU. The mind is being attacked. It's also a form of an attack from the energy of the Yami. Awan Yawa, that mental illness.
Yeah. It's a lot of that going around right now. So we might have to do another episode on a different topic I just thought of. But, as far as this IKU with, the early death, premature death, and that type of thing, we always hear verses in IFA that deal with this type of thing, protecting against it or stopping it from happening again or whatever it is. Like these things, we know these things happen, in life, and they've been happening for a long, long time. So when something like that, does happen to you, that's the thing. That's the question we want to ask today, and hopefully, give a little bit of encouragement and some, something that somebody can use to help in that situation. When you lose a loved one or like a child or something like that, like you gotta go to something deeper in order. And I've never experienced that. So these are just, encouraging words and ways that we can deal with, I guess, grief and not let it drive us crazy.
Well, I think that's the importance of ancestor veneration and understanding that there is a grieving period. And then you do whatever. See, those rituals are very important as well. Doing a ritual, depending on how the person made their transition, doing those ancestral burial rites, knowing those burial rites and ceremonies and rituals are so important because it helps the transitioning of that spirit. Those rituals help to clean up a lot of the issues that they may have had, because it's an elevation. Help those rituals and rites is the elevation, helps with the elevation of that spirit. That's very important. But there's a mourning period where we mourn. And then there's a period of celebration. We celebrating that the spirit or the ancestor has made it home. That's usually around a year. You don't IBA the ancestor into a year after its transition. Then you IBA that ancestors. Now the ancestors that went through the elevation, the initiation to elevate home. So, and that's in a year. And so there's candlelight, there's celebration that happens after that. Now, every year you should do something. You should do some type of celebration to celebrate the life of that person when they were on earth. Drumming, dancing, you do the rituals to the ancestors. You invite people over, you make a big dinner, have a big celebration. You have food, you have singers, you have drummers, and you celebrate that person. You tell their story.
Daniel.
Tell their story, how they was when they were young or and how they came up and, and that, I think that helps with the grief.
Benny.
It helps with the grieving. You know what I mean? You might, every year when it happened, you might, wake up and think and you shed a tear, but that celebration part and like you celebrate, invite some family over. You gotta have something to keep you happy. The energy is there, but so you gotta direct it. Right, and it helps. If you don't direct it, it just turns into You just go like this. You just be sad, and depression, and then a day go by and a couple of days go by, and you're stuck in that sadness.
So you gotta put your energy into
celebrate.
something.
You gotta celebrate that person. Have a party, have some beer and some wine, and have a good time. Have some music playing. Have a time where y'all sit and y'all talk about that person, their life, those are things that you celebrate, to keep the spirit of that person alive. That's why they say, one of the forms of ancestor veneration is remembering those ancestors and what they did. That's a part of the veneration. That's a part of the feeding up to the ancestors. You remembering great-great-grandfather such and such and what he did and what he contributed to the family and his responsibility to the family and to his community. And you talking about those things. It feeds that ancestor. Yeah. It feeds the spirit. And so those joyous things that we do helps to elevate and strengthen the spirit. And of course, their blood, and so it's going to strengthen us as well. Benny.
In those times, it's like the only thing that you can really, turn to, you got to really go deep with with the wisdom of Ifa, whatever it's saying, to have somebody that can really help decipher and navigate you when things like that happen, to help you to understand.
Sure. That's important.
And deal with it, you know.
That's the importance of Ifa.
And, grieve but still carry on, have the strength and the energy. You have a reason to catch. That's why a lot of people open up foundations and stuff like that, dedicated to
those people,
whoever passed away or whatever, because it's a way to honor. And they put their energy into that work. Like I said, you got to channel the energy somewhere. So you can do whatever you want to do, but you got to do something, especially around that time.
Right.
Yeah,
when that time comes, because it can be that sadness. That spirit of sadness can hit.
The energy gonna come.
That's why you prepare a couple of months for the celebration.
Yep.
And so when that time comes, you already in the spirit of celebrating. And you like, I'm celebrating. You gonna feel a little sad, and that's you supposed to. But however, that celebration transitioning into celebrating that person is really gonna make you smile, and you're gonna, when you go to sleep that night, after the celebration is over and you go to sleep, you're gonna feel good. You're gonna feel healed from that, and that's what the ancestors want. But the IKU is also the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle.
Benny.
So when the spirit transitions from this physical plane into the spiritual realm, it awaits its turn to it awaits its time to return back to the earth with a whole new destiny, with a whole new manual, with a whole new blueprint to follow. And it just goes, and that's just how life goes. So IKU is a big part of this whole life scheme. IKU ain't a bad Orisha.
Right.
It's just is what it do.
It do what it is what it is. And you got to deal with destiny, and none of this is easy. So by any means, dealing with, different losses from different loved ones or friends or even family members or whatever, children, whatever it is, I think that's probably the toughest one. So there's none of it is easy, especially that one. But you do have to find a way to something to hold on to help you, you can mourn, but still kind of go through life and still live your life, knowing that you're going to see, your spirits will meet again, and that all of that stuff about how we just spirits here having a physical experience in this body for a while, and you got destiny and all that stuff comes into play. So this is not really an easy place to be, especially if you don't have control, if you can't control your emotions. This place, it'll take you out.
Yeah, you can get. That's why Ifa is so important. Ofunyeku. Ofunyeku is one of the Odus that teaches us how we appease Ifa. Right? It teaches about the importance of Ifa and celebrating Ifa, because I look at when we celebrate Ifa, when we do Ifa festivals, Ifa, even to our personal Ifas, excuse me, even to our personal Ifas, it's like we're celebrating life. We appeasing Ifa to have long life, so that we can live out our destiny. Ifa Orumila is one of the ones that can, and Eshu are one of the ones that can go to Ifa, go to IKU on your behalf and say extend their life. The Ofunyeku is like when we give offering to Orumila or Ifa, Ifa is taking that airball and giving it taking it where it's supposed to go. But Ifa eats at certain times. Ifa will partake in eat itself. But Ifa is very important because Ifa is the one that can go to IKU on your behalf. That's why we make Eba Ifa tells us how to appease Iku. Even if you know you like, I feel Iku is on me. I think I need to do something to appease the spirit of Iku. How do you know what to appease Iku with? You gotta go to Ifa. You gotta go to Ifa to confirm it. Ifa knows how you need to appease Iku so that you can have Aiku. You know? Mm-hmm. So Ifa is very important as far as also knowing and helping us with the understanding of rites of passage, because death is a rite of passage.
Benny.
It's a rite of passage that we all got to go through. We all got to cross that bridge, right? But and Ifa knows the sacrifices, the appeasements that you have to make when you're making that transition to home. You know, so Ifa is very important when it comes to understanding Iku and the nature of Iku. That's why we go to Ifa to find out we need to understand what type of Iku is here for this person.
Yeah.
IKU-An and IKU-An the physical or death that can take you out, car accident, or whatever. What about those people that commit suicide? How does that, what do we say about that? That type of Iku that came and made them, that's some mental illness.
Benny.
But what, would that be a form of a curse or something, or?
Can be.
Can.
Doesn't have to be, but definitely, can be. It's so many different causes and ways to, for that to happen.
Right. What triggers that person to say, I'm going to jump. I'm going to jump off this bridge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people, they get down. Life pulls them down when things ain't going right for them. And they fall into that state of depression because everything that they think they're doing is they're not getting nowhere in life.
The only thing above the mind, mental, is the spirit. So any type of mental illness, the root of the problem is going to be solved in a spiritual manner. Then it will be backed up in the physical manner. All right, now that we've done the spiritual work, now you need to take these herbs or these, do this or do that, take this akoshe, whatever, right? But in the absence of that, it happens,
They say in Ifa that you choose your head, you choose your ori before you come to the earth. Some people choose ori buburu, the bad head. Those who are patient choose
a better ori
with the good Iwa.
And even but the good news is, even the ones that chose ori buburu, when they get here, if they are able to get to a competent diviner,
they can change it. That. Yeah, they can fix it.
They can fix that.
They can fix it. A lot of times,
that's the beauty.
A lot of times when that comes through like a birth divination, if that's seen, they'll quickly consecrate the Ikini Ifa for that child. To divert that destiny that they was born in with Ori Buburu. Ifa can change their Ori, give them their Ifa.
Yeah,
that will help. That's a remedy for that.
I'm gonna read this real quick. This is I'm just checking in with different things, right? So this is from a Buddhist standpoint on how to deal with Iku. Something that they have here. They call it the 4 tasks. Says that the first task is to accept the reality of the loss. I would think I'll agree with that. That's definitely.
Because
when you first hear it, it's like you don't believe it. Your mind is telling you like this not real. You know what I'm saying? Like you go through that stage. When we have loss, especially when it was somebody that went, earlier, went too young or whatever. Like if it's somebody older, it's different. It's still, you still grieving and you still mourning, but it's, it's like, okay, it's more of a celebration. Like, all right, we know that, but you made it all the way here. So it's like, you got to go at some point. But
I think it's the type of way you go.
It's the way and when.
And when.
So task number 2, experience the pain of the grief. Task 3, adjust to an environment in which the deceased is missing. And task 4, withdraw emotional energy from the deceased and reinvest it in other social activity without uncertainty or guilt. So that's deep, right? Because that's what we were just talking about, but they just said it in a different way. Don't invest, I said emotions. Remember I mentioned that, your emotions, right? Emotional activity. Don't, what did it say? Withdraw emotional energy from the deceased. So stop, like, in other words, at some point you have to make a conscious decision to stop investing all that emotional energy into somebody that's gone, and unless you're doing it through ancestor veneration or you're doing it a different way where now you're dealing with it, differently now. But
that's what part of ancestor veneration.
Right. It says invested in other social activity, right? So that's why we said the celebration,
right? The drumming,
the veneration. That's the investment in the other social activity, right?
Having marketplaces set up with the celebration, all of that.
In other words, he's saying you got to redirect that energy from being emotionally invested into mourning and grief and loss into the other way, into the more of the celebration. And like they had the foundation for the daughter they just lost to cancer. I just met a couple. I was at an event, you know what I'm saying? So that's exactly what this number 4 is saying. In their way. And that's just a Buddhist thing I just pulled up.
The African concept is through song and dance and reverence.
Nature.
The balance, being in harmony with that. Being in harmony with IKU. Understanding the nature of IKU.
Yeah.
And the things that you need to do to prolong your life. Is not, you're not fighting against IKU, I don't think. I think you just you telling IKU, give me, I want more time. Like, I want to live good so that I can live long. All of those things, what you put into your body, all of the things that you eat, what you eat is like, you got to eat to keep yourself balanced. You got to eat the right things to keep yourself balanced so that you can have
because spiritually longevity. You could be good, but if you eat yourself to death,
well, I think if you're
gonna leave here early.
Right. I think if you eat bad, you're not spiritually
right.
Yeah, spiritually together.
I guess what I was saying is you could be doing all the elbow, and you can have all the Orisha at the house, but if you just eating like terrible every day,
right?
Then don't expect. They're not going. If you make that conscious decision to put, what I'm saying, poison in your body every day, and you just that's whatever gonna happen physically.
Right. If you got all the Morisha, you better know all the taboos from the Morisha.
Yeah, well,
because
protocol and respect, brother. Taboos, Ewo. Don't nobody.
That's important.
It's easy to jump out here, but
that's the sacrifice you make to get a whole bunch of pots.
Yeah.
You get all of those itai if you get it right. Because I've seen people with Orisha, they got down like I didn't get no itai. It's like, okay, how do you know you didn't got the Orisha? You got the Orisha, but you don't even know the taboo because those are the important things to know.
That's the whole reason you got the Orisha. What's for the
To know
Itai?
why Oshun? Why do I have Oshun in my life? What's the taboo of Oshun?
Right,
What is
all
the
of
taboo that Oshun is
What's
telling
the
me?
sacrifice
What's
that's
the
coming out of here, and what is that going to do for me and avert for me? Because that's the biggest one.
It averts IKU.
Yeah, it does.
You manage your taboos. You
Yeah.
follow your taboos. It
Then-
will avert.
Listen,
that.
we live in a world and a time right now where, like, straight up, you have to pay a lot of attention to yourself in a spiritual manner, so to know how to move and have the protection that you need to have out here, because people are leaving here early, sooner than they really should be.
But you got some people out here that's not, but I don't like to use the word evil, but they're evil.
Oh man, yeah, evil is real.
You know,
Evil is real. It's
you gotta
definitely real.
recognize who is around you.
Yeah.
You gotta recognize who you talking to. You gotta read people. You gotta pay attention to your intuition and to your energy. If you feel kind of funny around a group of people, or you in a group, or you find yourself around a lot of people, or not just people, but in certain areas, you might find yourself. And if you don't feel something ain't right, follow that. It's some negative energy out here, and the negative energy is increasing because of the mentality of the people. It's feeding that energy, So it's almost like IKU-An gone buck wild. It's like the story where they said, Orumila had to go to IKU on behalf of humans because IKU was running rampant at one time. That's in Oyeku, I believe it was Oyeku Meiji. IKU was running rampant, and he was just eating humans and just taking them before their time. And then the humans went to Orumila and said, pleaded to Orumila that, please, can you go talk to IKU, because we trying to live our life out, and we want. Some people say, I want to get rich here on Earth. Like IKU is just. So Orumila went to IKU on the humans' behalf and said, hey man, come on now, let them live. And so that's one of the stories where the IFA comes in, where when IKU saw
made the deal,
saw the IFA, he recognized, okay, those are children of Orumila. I'll honor that pact.
Honor that, yeah.
So it's real.
Yeah, then you got the story with Eshu and the he-goat. I can't recall the Odu now, but then the other one that I know is from a Warren Meji, where Olodumare made divination himself when he realized that he had given IKU the power to take life, and IKU was on a rampage. So they say the children would never hear the death of Olodumare, the adult would never hear the death of Olodumare, and nobody will ever hear the death of Olodumare. So just talks about the importance. That verse from Warren Meiji talks about the importance of Idafa, or of divination in general, the importance of divination itself, and for preventing early death. And from a Warren Meiji.
I said, it's real out here, and that rampantness that IKU has, is, I believe, is a lack of people appeasing or recognizing, and the lack of responsibility people have, the lack of feeling some type of love for a fellow human being. Is like that energy is so rampant right now. You got young people taking each other out in different ways. And it's just wild.
Yeah.
So there's no order. That's where Eshu comes in. Eshu also can go to IKU on humans' behalf, but there's a story where Eshu was battling IKU. I believe it's in Oshetora, and IKU kept chopping Eshu's head off, but every time he chopped it off, Eshu would multiply. He kept multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. Where that, that's how Eshu ended up defeating IKU. But you gotta appease that energy. Eshu is the one that can go to IKU on our behalf as well. And plead. And give Diabo.
And that's what I'm saying. Like we have to be on top of that, because really, at the end of the day, that's if you think about it, that's all we got, because we're not in control. We can't control what happens when we leave out of here. We're not in control of that. There's a higher power that's directing things, and so we have to try to stay in compliance and stay under the protection and guidance of these spiritual forces that are here to help protect us and help us have long life, help us to never have to bury any of our children, help us to never have to deal with early death and premature death, those type of things. And then you also have destiny. You got that comes into play too, where it could be a deeper thing. And that's why I say IFA is so important, because it could be, there's situations where that person made a choice to make a sacrifice for some type of greater good, where they felt like they could, help more from up there. So it's a lot.
Yeah, sacrifice. Some people make that transition so they can go, like the Bible said, to go back to the other side to be of greater help.
Right.
Because I think some spirits come here and then, come to this physical realm
for a certain time to do a certain thing.
Right. But what about the ones that say that's on this earth and everything that they try to hand out, it doesn't work out? And it takes them to that point where they start to think that, damn, everything that I'm doing on this earth is not working out. Why am I here? And they start thinking, why am I here? And then that why am I here can lead to, you know what, I might as well leave.
Might as well leave.
Because
Either
everything that I'm doing is not working out.
They do one or two things. They do that, or they find, that's how people come to IFA. A lot of people come that way because they're trying to figure out something deeper, and they hear about it. So that's why a lot of people come in. Or they might go, hopefully that not, but a lot of people do go the other route, and they don't have the patience and the perseverance that is needed, because sometimes that's part of people's destiny too. The first part of your life might be extremely rough, but if you can hold on and persevere and still be a decent human being, the prosperity will come on the second part of your life. But you may not, if you don't chill out, you ain't gonna make it there.
And you hear these stories in IFA like this. You hear it in the verses. That's why IFA, the interpretations of IFA, when you interpret IFA, you're interpreting something that the ancestors went through.
It's already happened.
Yeah, that went through thousands of years ago.
Already happened,
it's recorded history.
Right.
It's recorded events. IFA is recorded events of the way our ancestors lived and how they saw a problem.
And the wisdom around it, and the esoteric application around it, and all, the African science and the spirituality and the herbology and all,
the medicines, the crochet, and all of those things that go along with it as the remedy to get through this. Ogunda Iwori speaks about, a person that's going to see their wealth, when they're old in life. When they get a little older, that's when they're going to start seeing their prosperity. So that person, they can't try to find a quick way to make money. They can't adopt to illegal means to get income.
All the way bad.
But they have to realize that, okay, my prosperity is coming probably when I'm in my 50s.
Everybody here, is not meant to have money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
everybody ain't meant to
be wealthy.
To be wealthy either. You have to know what your path and your destiny is, and
that's their wealth,
and accept it. Or
that's
you might be
wealth.
able to say, look, I want to try change this part of my life, change this part of my contract around. You know what I'm saying? Is there something I can do to bring me a little more wealth?
I like the way you put that. Say, can I do contract? Can I?
Yeah. Can I renegotiate a little bit?
Right.
And I know that's wasn't my original destiny, but is there something I can do? Not no money ritual, but is there some sacrifice I can make, and maybe followed up with some crochets, something, whatever,
to increase
some
that,
organs, some charms,
that part of my
increase
life.
that part of my destiny.
Right. That's important to know. So you can even do that with IKU. Is like, you go to a Rumila and say, that's why people that's sick, they come to IFA to see what's the remedy. I want to live alone.
Usually they've tried everything else, and it's like their last resort. A lot of people.
All the time. IFA is the last resort. And IFA puts the seal on it. IFA deals, give them the proper. I didn't know. IFA done saved a lot of people that the doctor said, you got 6 months. And they came to IFA, and IFA directed them and told them, and they did everything IFA said do.
And then all the Orisha diviners and priests and priestesses, too. When we say IFA, we mean inclusive. All of our diviners and all the Orisha,
Babalorisha,
as well.
Yalorisha, Yanifa, Petebi, everybody.
It's powerful. But IKU is I think we all accept it. It's if you're older and you up in years, like it's like, okay, that's that's normal.
That's normal.
But when it's not, what we deem as not normal, it requires a deeper investigation to help us understand it and help us navigate it, so we can make some type of peace with it, so that we can move on with our lives and deal with because the person, our loved one, would never be out of our life. They're just in a different realm now, so getting used to the new way of, until we are joined together again, this how we gotta rock for right now until I see you again. Yeah,
I think a lot of stories in IFA from them, and you can hear when you hear those verses where it say it was a time when humans was able to travel from heaven to earth. You know what I mean? And it almost sounds like, damn, like when you hear it, when you hear the story and you reading it, or you're being told it and you sitting there and you listen, it's like, wow. It's like it was a time when humans, they were in alignment with
we were able
death,
to go back and forth.
With IKU, right? And they were so in tune with it that they was able to phase in and out.
Yeah, it's like going to sleep. It's like being awake now and us going to sleep. And then that's like the equivalent,
right?
know?
And then you wake back up, and you back, and you know what I mean? It's like but I think because of fear, and when little villages and then towns and then cities and then nations, when they start organizing and humans start getting a little advanced, they start warring against each other, and that power came, and everybody want to start conquering each other, and then that element of fear started being put in. So people are afraid of death.
Oh yeah.
They look at it like, like, wow, this is just a part of the part of nature, is a part of the whole scheme of life in the universe. Everything is dying and being reborn.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And once you come to understanding that, then I think, and then you do your appeasements.
Yeah.
It will give you long life.
That's a deep point, because it's like, if somebody leave early and you in deep mourning, but that the winter is coming, like you'll go into the winter again sometime, meaning that you'll be reunited again, just in a different dimension. Think about when these leaves, on this money tree, when they die and they hit the ground, you know what I mean? Some people go and grab them,
and they use them for different things. When they use it, they're using the spiritual energy of the leaf, and then they make medicine out of it, or whatever they do with it is being born or is being used in a way it's being it's not being thrown away.
Spirit is being kept alive.
The spirit is being kept alive and it's being merged with water for mirror, as a paste or as a cream to heal somebody's skin. You know what I mean? It's being reborn in different ways to help. You know, so it's as they say, it's life after death.
Yeah,
it's just it's the cycle.
Yeah.
It's the cycle of the universe.
Yeah.
You know.
So when it comes to coping, you know, let us do it the way our ancestors always did it.
Ashe.
Turn it into a celebration, deal with it through, you know, song and dance or drumming, you know, music. Doing your own music, whatever. Music is powerful, right? Dealing with it, you know, from the spiritual aspect, and then just wrapping your mind around it and say, look, I'm gonna see you again till I get, you know, over there again, till I hit that part of the cycle and we catch up.
Yeah, keep me keep me a room over there.
Yeah,
keep me a nice little spot so when I come back, you know, we're gonna hang out. Yeah, we're gonna hang out when it's my time and I make mine. We see each other again. We're gonna hang. We're gonna hang out. Go in the market over there.
Yeah, so
market or something over on the other side.
And it's always okay to find somebody if you need to talk to somebody or somebody that is deals with, you know, grief counseling or therapy or whatever. Do whatever you feel like you need to do. You know, take a trip somewhere in nature by yourself or do whatever you feel like you need to do. Just don't let that energy be on you and be stagnant and drive you into that sadness and depression. You got to get up. You got to do something because you got to remember that whoever it is that you grieving and mourning, if you let that take you out and take you under and take you over, then your loved one is going to be sad. That they don't want that. So you don't want to compound the grief.
Right.
Because now you have your grief, and now if you don't get it together and figure out a way to live and be happy, then your deceased spirit is going to be grieving too. So now that's grief times two. That's compounded.
And remember, the ancestors always want their children to continue the family
and be happy.
Traditions, the family customs.
I say.
You know, and part of those customs, African culture and everything, is always song, dance. It's always instruments.
I say.
Are the key to communicating with the ancestors. Is also a way of that ancestral energy. The sound of music brings it in a certain way. So, for example, if you playing on a slow rhythm, a nice smooth rhythm, that's how the spirit is gonna come. You know. So it brings that harmony. It brings that when you singing and you dancing, the ancestors know that, they're continuing the traditions. And then the ancestors will come, you know, and they'll come in joy because they're happy to see that you're celebrating them. You're continuing to follow those customs and traditions to make everything stay in harmony and everybody happy and joyous and, you know, everything's just beautiful, you know. So the ancestors, they don't want to come, you know, in the form of a gungun. They don't want to come and sit down with their family and they see that their family is sad.
Defeated. Yeah,
everybody is sad and they crying and they want to see you dancing. They want to see you dancing for them because they want to know that, okay, my people
they're
gonna
keep it going, and my people happy. Yeah, they don't want us to be here sad and unhappy and depressed. So think about it from that standpoint. Whoever it is that you're mourning. Look at it that way. So in order to honor them, you have to figure out a way to get yourself out of that state. And you have to redirect that energy.
And another important thing is the ancestors do not want to see their family fighting against each other. They don't want that. They don't want to come and see that because they're going to be like, okay, I guess we got to come and whoop some butt.
Listen.
We got to come and whoop some butt. They don't want to see, they want to see the family in harmony so that when they send their blessings, there's no blockage. If you're fighting against your brother and your sister, or brother against brother, sister against, however, they're going to block the blessings.
They'll whip some ass.
Will whoop some butt.
They got some ass to whip.
Some skin.
That's what they do.
Some leather.
You want to act up?
Skin.
Okay.
Some whips. On some skin.
There's definitely some consequences and repercussions.
Yeah, the ancestors don't like that.
Between Awan Lashe Kude Gungun and Ajagumale.
They don't want to see
Can't do it, oh. Please, oh.
They don't want to see you dressed in your finest African clothes, and now you're throwing dirt on each other.
There's consequences and repercussions.
You just smack your sister.
Trust me.
And they like, the ancestors want to see happiness. They want to see joy amongst the family. They want to see
dignity,
positive energy, dignity. Whoa.
They want to see dignity,
respect, amongst the family.
It's Omar Batala. It's Omar Batala, the village. The Obao Sejamin Baratu and Batala. So Suru, Babaiwa,
Ogbeoyonu. Humility. It's important because we're all tested.
Control the ego. So we're seeing what the prophet, with the Oba Waja Oba Sejamin, the first Ibaratu room with y'all said he said it. With the Elays and the godparents getting out of hand, and now we see the result of what he was talking about.
They said these days will come. I kid you not. I heard it with my I heard it with my ear.
Out of control.
I heard it with my ear. The elders about Sejamin, Chief Ajamu, Chief Owolowo, all of them. I remember when I was a little kid, just being around hearing the elders talk, and all of them talk at the meetings or the festival. They did say these days will come. You're going to see these days come when you see the ego in this take present.
We got the one, you just came out of your 1 year, and we got ego.
Yeah. So these are
you just got initiated. You just got back off the plane from Nigeria, and you got an ego.
Right.
Some people.
So this is the lesson from those things, though. When people come and they just they jump right into, I'm a Babalawo. Because a lot of people come when they just got initiated. They say I'm a Babalawo.
Say that word, or
I'm a Olorisha, or I'm a Babalawo.
Now you don't even see Olorisha no more. I ain't seen Olorisha in years. Everybody's a Babalawo.
I think it's making this comeback. I think it's making this comeback, though. I think it's making this comeback because it don't supposed to make a comeback because it don't supposed to even be like that.
Yeah.
Because the Babalawo and the Babalorisha and Iyalorishas work together.
I don't see ain't nobody know Homo Awo, ain't no Awo. Everybody go straight to buy, and that's a word thing. That's that's a word play too. That people, I think it's not a lot of people fault because we don't. A lot of us need to go a lot deeper with the language, and then we'll understand. And then you'll understand the terms of what we're saying and the culture.
Understand the culture,
right?
Because
if you just got initiated, somebody might call you a Babalawo or Yanifa, but you're not really that. They just they're using that word to identify you as somebody that's been initiated.
Right.
So to actually, practice, in reality, say that you are an Yanifa or a Babalawo, there's a whole lot of things that you have to know.
Yes.
If somebody sits you down and you say you are this or that, and somebody sits you down and you gotta explain and just say, well, I'm just, on my wall.
Right. But the elders did say these days will come.
Yeah.
And there will be lessons going forward. So, I remember seeing it, man. I just remember seeing the transition from, growing up in it from the late 70s through the 80s, through the 90s, and then the 2000s. I just seen a lot of transitions within IFA. A lot of the as we say, IKU and IKU-An. The cycles, through the cycles of seeing how this evolved.
Yeah.
And to where it's at now, the ego has taken presence.
Yeah.
Right? These things are supposed to happen though, but they're dying out. The problem sometimes in this, what I see now with the new generation of whether they're Olorisha, priest, or Babalawo, or Awo, let's say that, is we're living in this microwave society now.
Yeah, that's it right there.
So you can get initiated, as we say, last week, and you can go get a book on IFA off of Amazon with all of the 256 Odus in the book. You can read that for about 2 months, and then now you official Opele thrower. You know what I'm saying? And you can give and they're giving readings. Mm-hmm. It's microwave. Mm-hmm. Not only when learning divination, it's not just about learning divination that the Awo or the Olorisha has to get. It's the discipline that comes along with learning these things.
It's a whole lot more. It's that, that's a huge part of it.
Sitting on the mat all day. Mm-hmm. And not complaining. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Learning to read without throwing an opwele. Mm-hmm. Learning part of what we went through as Yawo, we couldn't talk for 48 hours. Mm-hmm. Right? No, 24 hours, my fault.
Yeah, we need to put that in practice.
Right. So
back today for some people.
Right. So we couldn't say nothing, but it allowed us to listen deeper. Mm-hmm. Smell. Look a little deeper. Look around. Let me look around my back. I can't say nothing now. I can't talk for 24 hours. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do? I'm feeling a certain way. I just gotta say something. Mm-hmm. But you can't. Those types of tests, those things is what help with the discipline aspect of things. Don't say nothing. Just listen.
Yeah, well.
Absorb. But everything is so microwave because society, this is the way society is set up now. Yeah. It's this microwave. You can go, come on, I go on YouTube and I be listening to certain Bible. I be learning on there. Mm-hmm. But again, it's microwave. Mm-hmm. Go on YouTube, and listen. You got a lot of Nigerians that don't even know the culture. Mm-hmm. They Christians or Muslims, they come over here and they like, damn, this Ifa thing is popping. I can speak fluent Yoruba. Oh, yeah. Damn, I go get me Opwele.
That get you
I go on YouTube, type in Orisha, and learn something. I know the language, so it's easy.
It's easy.
And boom, you know what I mean?
Happens all the time.
They Christian and Muslim all the way, but they making the money off of Ifa. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You have that. So you got all of these things that, you could pick up your phone and do it. Mm-hmm. You could type Odu Ifa in here right now on YouTube, and they're going to do all 256 of them. Mm-hmm. So you got all of these things that's so easy to access now. One of the things that I think the people before us did, I think they gave too many secrets out. Mm-hmm. And so now these secrets have been put in books, and now they're being recorded through audio and video. And so now anybody can go in, type up, they can sit down and learn the 16 Odu, put on some Yoruba clothes, get an Opwele out of the Botanica that hasn't even been consecrated. They know the Odus. They can go on Google, type in Ejiogbe. Oh, Ejiogbe says da 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 da. Write that down, study it. And they do a Dafa and they know how to interpret now.
Yeah.
But not versus not really. But the people that they're reading don't know that. The Bible know what he doing.
Yeah.
He done learned everything out of a book and on YouTube and didn't sit before the elders.
It's a huge price to pay for that. You know what I'm saying?
In the long run, it is. In the long run. Some of us ain't, I guess, some of us, they'll say, well, some of us ain't fortunate to go through the way you went through. That's a choice.
Yeah.
That's a choice you made. You can go sit up under elders. Mm-hmm. You can go and get initiated. You don't have to play like it's. I've literally met someone I think it was like 2005. He got a Dafa from me. No, he went to my Yeye first, and then he came to me. He got a Dafa from me, and he had a lot of problems going on. And so I said, something my Ori told me to ask him what does he do? I said, what do you do for a living? This man said, I'm a diviner. I said, what kind of divination you do? He said he do IFA divinations. He used the Opwele. I said, well, were you initiated to IFA? He said, no. He just got the information, and, you got to live and eat. So he just studied, and he just started doing readings. And I was like, no, you can't do that. You tapping into something that you don't know what you tapping into. You haven't been even initiated into that cult to be able to deal with that.
It's a big price to pay for that.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah. He put on his African clothes and he sits out in the street somewhere and people come and he feed their fortune, and he using the umbrella. Not no tarot cards, not no stones or crystals or nothing. He said he's happy to say it too. Mm-hmm. I was like, no, brother.
It's always been here. It's always going to be here.
Been here. Some people say, oh, those are charlatans. Yeah, they are. However, the information has been put out. No, but I'm saying the information have been put out there.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
To get it easy.
Yeah.
Through books and everything. And I'm not knocking those things.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
you can't do that.
We've given people a way to go on a YouTube site. Somebody right now today, one of them boys, and I saw a whole bunch of them, probably in Atlanta or somewhere, and they just got their hand to be fired, but they think they can divine with an Opwele. Mm-hmm. So they go and get an Opwele, and all they got to do is go on Amazon, put in Odu Ifa, or go on, what's that one, Etsy or something.
So divine for other people.
Yeah, because you can get a book.
Right.
And study the book in a couple of weeks. You know a little something about the Odu, and then you can add the rest of the stuff in.
Right.
And going to do reading.
Yeah.
My Baba said I can do it. I mean, I've heard it now. And Baba said, said that I can do it. So who your Baba? He's in Nigeria. Well, how are you talking to him? On WhatsApp or Zoom or what's that one? Skype. And they said I can do E-days and everything. And they splitting the money. It's become
man.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, what I'm saying is a lot of the secrets have been put out.
Enough for people, for bad actors to take it in.
For easy.
Right.
Somebody can go who don't know nothing about this, but see, damn, it's making a lot of money.
It's a lot of them out there.
And they like, well, I'm gonna just go buy me, go down to the store, buy an African
Buy me a couple
outfit,
things and
buy me some nice shoes.
Oh yeah, we done seen
put on
it.
some nice clothes, get some nice
Seen
African
it
clothes.
too many
go buy me an
times.
Iru-Kere off of eBay.
And now I'm
Go
such
buy
and
me
such.
an Iru-Kere off of eBay.
Pull this out
You
right
know?
here.
Yeah.
I am
And buy no puele.
whoever you want to be.
And you think they are Awo, and they really not. Some of them don't. Some of them think because they got their hand to be fire, they can divine with people. I've met some. This is what I'm saying. So it's like, where did you get that from? Like, who told you that? You have it. We out here because information on IFA is so easy to access. It ain't like, those young guys in Nigeria, they gotta, when they want an Odu, they gotta go to the elder and they gotta give that elder something. Some money, buy him something. When you go into the elder's compound to learn the Odu, they gotta take something to that elder. They can't just, they going to sit under the foot of the elder to learn that verse of that Odu. They got to give something to that elder. You know what I mean? Over here, they don't even come to elders.
Ain't nobody interested in doing that.
Yeah, they just go
trying to
and
get that money.
It's the books. You can get the book. And
the book is not an elder.
No, but some people don't want to go to elders. But their ego is so big, they don't want nobody to tell them nothing or teach them nothing.
Yeah.
That's when IKU comes too. When you're faking it.
That'll definitely put them on your trail, because you're doing a terrible disservice. The people that you're getting are not the one. You're gonna take the brunt of that. The one that's doing it. They are, whatever sacrificial land that part of their destiny was to pay. That's part of their sacrifice on their journey. But you, the one that's doing it, is really the one that's gonna pay more for that. So we just wanted to check back in with everybody, let you know that we're back, let you know that we love you, and we thank you for being
back.
patient and waiting as we, out of respect and protocol, had to take a quick hiatus for a quick minute. But we back now. Let's Talk IFA is in full effect. I am Awo Ifa Jaminire.
I am Awo Ifa Tegunshe.
And we signing out for another episode of Let's Talk IFA.
Ashe.
Peace and blessings. Ire lopo lopo. Ire bobo. Abo ato.
Ibawo.
Ashe. Odaro. Till next time, everybody. Peace.
Odaro. Peace.